The Gem State is changing every day, and as it does, the Idaho Matters podcast will help you know more about the changing communities and governments and cultures of Idaho. Listen to Idaho Matters today at boisestatepublicradio.org or in your favorite podcast app.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. This morning, we share with you what you absolutely need to know about absentee ballots. We will hear about Idaho's new public defender system, and we'll also hear about the emotional after effects on all of us in the shadow of wildland fires. It is a Tuesday, October the 1st, and here are today's stories. A Boise high school student was taken into police custody Monday. That after police said he had brought a gun to the campus of Boise High. Officials were quick to add that the gun was unloaded. School officials say the student will face school and legal consequences, but no word yet on any charges. The makeover of Idaho's public defense system begins today. As James Dawson reports, public defenders all across Idaho's 44 counties will be working under a centralized state system for the first time.
The Sixth Amendment guarantees criminal defendants the right to adequate legal representation. A 2010 study by a national group found glaring problems with Idaho's county-by-county public defense system, and an ongoing lawsuit filed in 2015 has led to similar conclusions. Idaho Chief Public Defender Eric Frederickson says he and another leader in his office are pinch-hitting these first few days in counties that have holes in their roster.
Kootenai and Shoshone County, we're continuing to work on. Our litigation director, Doug Nelson, is up there right now.
Part of the issue is pay. Most staffers will get a raise, but 15% lose money under the new salary structure.
Probably the most difficult day I've ever had as an attorney. You never want to give somebody a pay cut.
Frederickson says some contracted attorneys want to continue working for a flat fee, which he says his office eliminated based on fairness. State officials will collect data over the coming months and years to determine if the system needs more funding to uphold its constitutional obligations. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
On the fire watch, more than 500 firefighters are starting another day on the lines of the lava fire, which has threatened Valley and Gem counties. Ed LeBlanc is an operations section chief on the scene. He says the winds have continued to test the firefighting efforts, but a mini halotac crew has been continually dumping tens of thousands of gallons of water on hotspots.
Surgically getting in there, trying to get to the heat, bringing the helicopters in, and then dropping on those little quarter-acre spot fires, basically, and securing those. So they're making good progress.
Now over to the Wapiti fire, which has grown as of this morning. More than 125,000 acres have burned. Kevin Norton is the current operations section chief at the Wapiti.
So the fire did increase about 84 acres over the last 2 days. That increase in acreage happened in multiple spots around the fire, not just in one area. We did have some fire activity in the bull trout area due to the really high winds, gusts up to 40 miles per hour.
And of late, we've been shifting into the discussion, sometimes heated, of the after effects of wildland fire. As an example, the lava fire, which has ravaged the mountains and trail systems in Valley and Gem counties.
There isn't anything alive up there. The root system up there is destroyed. There's giant ponderosas that are laying across the road that are dead. There's dead, burned up animals on the side of the road.
This is Valley County Parks and Recreation Director Larry Laxon. Yesterday, he stood before Valley County commissioners.
Things don't usually bother me. When you're driving around and you're seeing rocks roll off the hillside because the root systems are gone that held the hillside together, that's going to continue for years. When you see dead deer laying alongside the road that their lives are spent getting burnt to death, it's pretty emotional, because all we talk about is the cost of fighting the fire. But that isn't the cost. That isn't even close. We've got the timber that's lost. We've got the local economies that are affected. We don't talk about the long-term health effect for residents from those fires. And I think that conversation needs to take place too.
And as of this morning, That lava fire is 82% contained. Election Day is now 5 weeks from today. Early in-person voting begins in a couple of weeks, but people have begun to vote via absentee ballots.
In Idaho, you do have to actively request an absentee ballot. You're not going to be mailed one. No voter will automatically be mailed an absentee ballot. Instead, you have to request it either from your local elections office, or you can go to voteidaho.gov and you can put in your information and request a ballot be mailed to you.
This is Idaho's Secretary of State Phil McGrain. He says as for the security of those absentees, there's an important step that is absolutely required.
Whenever voters get an absentee ballot is to make sure to sign the envelope on the back. There's an affidavit there. And one of the security measures we have in place in Idaho for absentee ballots is that we verify 100% of the signatures that come back for all the ballots. Often the biggest issue with absentee ballots is actually that voters forget to sign them.
And a programming note, Secretary of State McGrain appears on today's Idaho Matters, and he continues to visit Idaho Matters each Tuesday all the way up to the election. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We'll see you back here tomorrow. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org or download the free Boise State Public Radio app. And thanks for listening.